Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Penrose Management Consultants. My name is Patrick Muchemi-Maina. I am an accountant specializing in training of practical accounting. So what is practical accounting? Practical accounting refers to the application of accounting principles and techniques to the real-world business situations. This field goes beyond theoretical knowledge, focusing on how these principles and techniques can be effectively utilized to manage and report financial information in a way that supports decision-making and enhance organizational performance. Practical accounting involves recording, analyzing, summarizing, and interpreting financial transactions. The processes of recording, analyzing, summarizing, and interpreting is trained within a very organized, structured framework known as accounting process. So what is accounting process? Accounting process is a combination of series of bookkeeping and accounting activities that begin when a transaction takes place and ends with the inclusion of that transaction in the financial statements. Accounting process consists of 7 distinct stages through which a transaction is processed. These stages are, number 1, the source documents. Stage number 2 is known as primary books. Stage number 3 is known as secondary books, or in another term, ledgers. Stage number 4 is trial balance. Stage number 5 is income statement, or other people call it profit and loss account. Stage number 6 is known as statement of financial position, or in another term, people call it balance sheet. And stage number 7 is known as statement of cash flows. That is what is entailed in our training, practical accounting training. And this course is divided into 2 parts. The first part, we train the first 4 stages: the source documents, the primary books, the secondary books, and the trial balance, because that is the area that involves a lot of recording, and in fact, there is a lot of bookkeeping activities in that particular section. So at the end of this particular stage, particular level, our client is expected to understand much about the source documents. In fact, we have 9 main source documents. And our client is expected to know how to verify and to vote these documents, to check all the transactions that are them, and then record the same in the primary books. Then from the primary books, this information is now posted into the ledgers. So from the ledgers, now we go to the trial balance. But before we get to the trial balance, there are a lot of other activities that are involved that are actually is for the interest of the management. There is a lot of reconciliations. One of the reconciliations that's normally done here is the bank statement reconciliation, or just bank reconciliation. This is where we reconcile the entries we have in the company's cash book and the statements that normally come from the bank. Another important reconciliation that is done is the payroll reconciliation. This is in connection with the staff that we have in our organization. And the other reconciliation is the creditors reconciliation, stock reconciliations, and debtors reconciliation. So, and there is also another activity that is very important in this particular section, and that is the costing, or the cost of the assets that we have in the organization. This is clearly shown in a schedule that's known as PPE, the property, plant, and equipment. This particular schedule is very, very important, especially when it comes to the issues of depreciation and knowing the carrying cost or the net book value of the assets of an organization. So that is one of the areas that is normally focused in this particular section of accounting process. After this, we now go to the second phase, the second part of the accounting process, and this is now where we come across the financial statements. And people normally call these as financial accounting. So this involves the drafting of the income statement and the statement of financial position, and also the statement of cash flow. Then there's another small statement that's known as statement of changes in equity, but that is part of the statement of financial position. So our client is expected to know and to understand what the numbers and the figures in these financial statements is all about. They're supposed to deal with a lot of another analysis using the ratios, and also to understand what the company owns and what it owes. Actually, the accountants should be able to understand all the figures in this particular section, because these are the summaries that are used by the owners of the business and other stakeholders to make decisions. So the accountant should be able to know in and out about these figures, so that anytime he's called upon to sit in the board meetings or any other meetings that requires kind of elaboration, he will be in a position to give all the standings of these financial statements. And then after all this, we now introduce our clients to a very common accounting software known as QuickBooks. So we show our clients how they can put all these figures, how they can put the information on the documents in the accounting process, these QuickBooks, and then at a click of a button, he will be able to understand or to get all the information that is actually in that particular organization, having been posted in the whole accounting process, and everything is going to be much clearer and be able to give report in time. So thanks so much for listening to me, and I hope that we are going to, all of us, meet in class and be able to discuss more. So my name is Patrick, as I had said before, and you can get in touch with me on 0722 633 335. Then we'll be able to go through all this particular process, understand how accounts is done on the ground, because in colleges we normally learn a lot of theories, but when we go to the ground, when we go to the offices where accounts are being done, we find that things are very, very different. And that is why we have this course that is actually trained based much on the experience, not really on the theories that we learn in school, but this one is based on actual experience of many years, so that at least our employers will be able to see what they are paying for, and even to have statements that are actually auditable. Thanks so much. We always have our online classes every day from Monday to Friday at 8 p.m., 10 p.m. We are sure by then, since we are targeting those people who are actually working, by that time, you would have already taken a kind of a rest, and we can be able to go together and see how we can be able to help one another. Thanks so much. Call me 0722 63335 or 0102 407 351. Thank you so much. Let's meet in class.